Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Grow Your Faith. I'm Michael Chestnut here with Pat Milligan. Pat, so good to see you. Getting into the festive year now, aren't we? Part of the
Sure
year. So this is my wife's favorite time of the year. You got Thanksgiving and then you've got Christmas,
Right.
so all that. And speaking of, we're celebrating Thanksgiving this week, and it's a great time. And hopefully you guys got some great family plans and all that going on for this week.
Yes, sure do.
So, well, Pat, it's Thanksgiving, and I'm going to give this part right over to you.
Okay, tomorrow's time where our family's getting together because Joe's got to go to Alabama for Thanksgiving with his family, with Chris's family. So tomorrow we'll all be together at Jason's house celebrating Thanksgiving. And as I think about Thanksgiving, let me read a verse out of Ephesians 6 verse 10. It says, finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might, that you might put on the whole armor of God. As I think about this Thanksgiving time, put the whole armor of God and ask God to help us. Something very unusual happened to me the other day when I went for my procedure. First of all, I wasn't going to let them put me on my back, on my stomach. I said, I have to sit up. And they said, yeah, this is a sit up type thing to drain up, I don't know, about that much water off my
Mm.
lung. And, but the thing that's really amazed me is this: when I walked in there, the lady came down from the room and said, I know you. And I said, oh, yeah, a lot of people say that, but I know you. And then went on back to the room, and another nurse in there says, I know you too. And another said, I know you too. Dr. Coates, I know you too. He said, we were the ones that turned you off of your stomach onto your back and gave you CPR and gave
Oh.
you stuff that day. And they said one thing. They said, usually you don't get to see that person after that because most times they don't make it. But it
Mm.
says, so good to see you. You look great. That's an encouragement to us as nurses and doctors that we could have done that for you. And I thought about that. I'm so thankful for that. That what that being there that day. I wasn't thinking. I didn't look forward to. Wasn't looking forward to going in there, but I went in there and they started talking and it was amazing. I mean, my wife heard it too. And it was a blessing to us. And as we think of this Thanksgiving time, make sure you have put on the armor of God, because the armor of God will help you and protect you in things that you go up against. And as this Thanksgiving season, think of one, two, three things to thank for, and holler out to God. Say, God, I'm thankful for that. I'm just thankful for matter of life. I'm thankful that God spared my life, and especially for my family and everything. Because I was thinking, I said, man, I wouldn't know what I'd do. But if I know where I'd been if something happened to me, I'd been in heaven. But I wasn't really prepared for that in the matter of my kids and my wife and all that. And I started preparing some more things, preparing for them in case I don't make it. I want to be prepared. And I want them to know that. And this Thanksgiving, well, I'm going to talk to my family about that and how God is so good to us in everything we do. And my challenge to you today is to take the verse and put on the armor of God. And because if you put on the armor of God, God will protect anything that comes your way and will help you in things that you do. So that's my challenge to you today, Mike.
Thank you, Pat. We just got done with revival at our church this week, and it was great. And we had talked about my wife's mother passing and things like that, right? And I'm thinking as you're talking, thankfulness is um, is a very intentional thing to do because the human flesh uh, is not always geared toward thankfulness. We're geared toward looking at the crisis, looking at things negatively or whatever, and it's all about perspective, is what I've learned. And me and my wife, we knelt down and prayed together about the purposefulness of how we're looking at things, you know,
Sure.
and how we're trusting God. I think about, your main message in life. You're one of the things that you've done often and illustrated for many of us who served under you was how you have always had this point of trusting God. And that now that I'm an adult, I can appreciate you more for that because I know how hard that is to actually do. And you have to practice it, you have to do it, and it's it's a mindset. And you can find yourself when you're thankful for what God's doing in your life and trusting Him to do it, it can take away some of that burden. It can take away some of that pressure that you have going on in your life. And you realize God has such a better plan than what you have. And as we go through this Thanksgiving, I echo what you just said. We need to sit back and be thankful for the things that we have in our life and appreciate them so much more than what we normally do. And Pat, I'm so glad you got to see the doctors and the nurses that worked on you. Not everybody gets to do that and gets to see that. And I know that was a blessing for you, for your wife. I know that had to be a horrible day for your wife to experience and watch as well. I love Pat's wife. I love Susie. I remember at camp, some of the things I liked the most about Susie. Susie was the mom for all of us. We were all these kids away from home for the summer, and we just loved it when Susie would come over to the campground and all that stuff. And she was just, you and her both. If you guys went through things, nobody ever knew it. No one ever knew it because you guys have always walked your faith. And I'm so thankful for you and your example. So, well, guys, until next time, we're going to keep growing our faith. Talk to you later.
Thanks for tuning in to the Grow Your Faith podcast with Pat Milligan and Michael Chestnut, your weekly dose of encouragement from God's Word. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss an episode. And we'll see you next week right here on Grow Your Faith.